Okay, in 4.2, we are rounding decimals. We've rounded whole numbers before. It's going to be very similar to rounding the whole numbers. Okay, 4.2, we're rounding decimals. Let's take the example 14.39652. Okay, if we are rounding that to the nearest thousandth. Okay, the first thing you do is you figure out where the thousandth is. 10, 100, 1,000. Underline the number you're going to be rounding to. We're going to put a line here. We're going to cut it off right there. This is our cutoff line. So everything after that gets cut off. We're going to put an arrow at the number following our cutoff line. Okay, so now it's going to end with either a 6 or a 7. We'll look at this number to decide if we round up or not. The 5 means we round up. The 6 turns into a 7. So everything else stayed the same. We just added 1 to the last number. Everything else gets cut off. Nothing else is written after your thousandth place. What you're rounding to should be the last number that you write. Let's take another number. Let's say 5.3496. We're rounding this one to the 10th. Where's our 10th? It's the 3. We're going to cut it off right here, and we're looking at the 4. Okay? The 5 will end up staying there. The 4 is not a 5 or bigger, so you do not round up. So the 3 stays the same, and everything preceding that stays the same. So it's 5.3. After we round, you would put a symbol like this. This means approximately, which means it's not exactly the same thing. This is approximately 5.3 when you round it. This one up here was approximately 14.397. There's another symbol that means approximate, but in this book they use this. This is the most used symbol for approximate. Okay, let's do another one here. Let's do 0.69738 to the 100th. First thing you need to do is find the 100th place. 10th, 100th. The 9 is in your 100th place. Draw a line for your cutoff and an arrow at the first number behind the cutoff, which is a 7. Okay, since the 7 is a 5 or bigger, we round up. Okay, so 69 becomes 70. It adds 1 to 9, which means it makes 69 70. We do leave the 0 in your 100th place because the place value that you're rounding to is the last number that you write. Even though it's a 0, we still write it. But we don't write any numbers after that. That was all cut off. So 0.69738 is approximately 0.70. Okay, let's round another number. Let's say if we had a dollar sign. And if we were going to do tax, if we were going to pay tax somewhere, okay, if we figured the tax out and it came out to this on a calculator, rounding to the nearest cent would be to this number here. This to the nearest cent, you would cut it off here, and it would be 3 would not round up, so it would be $2.24. If you were going to this is to the nearest cent. If you were going to the 10th of a cent, since the cent is right here, 10th of a cent would be the one following it. So if you were doing it to the nearest 10th of a cent, you're rounding it to the number following the cent. As if this were 24.389 cents, that would be your 10th of a cent. So rounding to the 10th of a cent would be the 3, cutting it off here, looking at the 8. So this rounded to the 10th of a cent would be 2.24. The 8 would round the 3 up to a 4. So this is to the 10th of a cent. Okay, let's go rounding it to the nearest 1, or to the nearest dollar. Let's say we have 0.72. The nearest dollar would be your nearest 1. So you would look at the 10-cent place value. It is a 5 or bigger, so the nearest dollar would be $1. So it'd be just the dollar sign with the 1. Let's say 3.42, rounding that to the nearest dollar. Here is your $1. Look at the 4 following it. The nearest dollar would be $3. If you had the dollar sign with 0.43, the nearest dollar would be 0. You would not add anything to that. $0. It's closer to no dollars than $1. And that's all for 4.2.